We are live and kicking. It's Johnny and the Greg. Welcome to another fantastic podcast. While you guys are liking and subscribing and sharing this wonderful adventure with us, Greg's going to break down who our partner is. Take it away, Greg.
Yes, I am. We partner with audible.com. So you want hundreds of thousands of audiobooks, podcasts, educational material, stuff that you can just dig into your ear. We've got It Is the Season for Romance. So if you want your romance books and maybe your spicy romance, or if you're just in for some old school sci-fi fantasy like me, you can get 30 days of Audible on us by going to audibletrial.com/JATG. Like I said, you get all your stuff. It's 30 days for free. If you like it, you keep it. If you don't like it, get rid of it. And the books that you get are still yours. So you can get, like I said, 30 days on us at audibletrial.com/JATG.
That's right. And happy Valentine's Day to everybody out there. I think we are just winding down the clocks now. So most of you people are getting in from your dinners or your little Netflix and chill moments. With us, Greg thought it'd be a great idea to bring on our guest. Greg?
Yeah. We have with us Jenny. She is with Jenny Elaine Photography. Now, I thought this would be a great time. I've followed your work now for a couple years. Full disclosure, we know each other from back in the day. A little bit went to high school, crossover there, and really enjoy your work. And really, you're getting into. You're a full service photography studio, but really. A lot of those boudoir shoots are becoming kind of a thing that's really eye-catching. And so we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how you came up in the business, and then how you're just kind of promoting body positivity. And then you get to promote yourself, which is a great opportunity. So, Jenny, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you so much. It's so nice to be here tonight.
Yeah,
welcome.
So
I just want to hang right before you go. I just want to give a little forewarning, Jenny. I'm not going to be as talkative as usual because I'll be honest, photography is not my forte. It is the Greg's over there, or I think it would go that way. I'm not sure how the screens are
over
set
here.
Up. Anyway, I'm going to sit back, relax, and learn a lot today. So
okay, awesome.
Take it away.
Awesome.
So yeah, really what we want to focus on is how did you first come up in the business? I mean, where are you at? Where can people find you? And then tell us a little bit about your story.
So you can find me on Instagram at Jenny Elaine Photography. And then I also have Jenny Elaine Boudoir as well. We have a split brand. And then you can find me on Facebook at Jenny Elaine Photography. And then just jennyelaine.com is my website. So those are the places to find me. I am a contemporary portrait photographer in Southern Wisconsin. I have a studio in Janesville, Wisconsin. But I travel all over the United States and I photograph people in different areas as well. So it's a lot of fun, and we specialize in maternity, beauty, and boudoir. So that's what we're really specializing in, but we do all the other photography as well. So
still hitting the senior picture market right there around Janesville, probably.
Definitely. We do a lot of senior portraits here in Janesville and Madison, and that's a lot of fun. And then we do families and newborns. So we do it all. Pets.
Cool. How did you get into it? How did you stumble into this? Is this something you've always, ever since you were 3, you had a camera and you were taking pictures, or?
So I took a class in high school. You know, they had a dark room, and that was really hard.
Lucky you.
Yeah,
you.
It was a lot harder though. You could take like 30 really bad photos really fast, or you could take one really good photo. So it took a while to learn how to use a dark room and actually learn how to use a camera. And I love that. And I always, really wanted to do that, but, I want to do a lot of other things as well. So I kind of just had that as a hobby. And then my husband actually got a manual camera for graduation from his uncle and aunt. So then I was kind of into it again, because now, I'm trying to use like those lenses, and I'm trying to use film. And then
so your husband got a manual camera and you took it from him.
I did.
Sounds like a marriage to me.
Yeah, I just, I learned on it. And then I had kids, and it wasn't until they were about 5 or 6, and I went and got a camera from Canon. It was actually a refurbished camera. And I just started like taking photos of them. And I loved photography, and I loved taking moments of like my parents and my sisters and like all of our family and all of that. But I wasn't really serious about like doing it as a business. I had a day job. So it wasn't until about like 5 years ago when I realized like, you're going to be 40. You need to like, if this is your dream, you need to like go for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I did. I worked really, really hard. And there were a couple moments that really just like kind of sped everything up. I was published in a magazine. I had taken a photo of my dog, and it was published in a magazine that's kind of an industry leader. It's called Behind the Shutter. So I got some confidence after I published that. And I still was thinking, like, you're not really good enough to charge, and you're just not, this isn't something you can do. So I went to Fuji and I got a performance review, and it came back really, really good. They helped me. And ever since then, I've just kept going, kept trying. So that's kind of how I got here.
Very cool. Very cool. What's Fuji? Is that a school, or is that
Fujifilm? It's
Fujifilm. Okay, my fault.
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah. So like they're kind of an industry leader. They had a portfolio review. I was able to get into it, and I showed them like 7 photos. And it's really, really hard as a photographer because I can put my work out there, and everyone that I know will say that is the most beautiful photo I've ever seen. But that, those are people that know me and they love me, or that's people that don't really understand photography techniques. So I actually went to someone and had a portfolio review, so I would know what it is that I needed to change or how I needed to grow. So
yeah, I get that. I get that. Are you? Go ahead, Greg.
I was gonna say it's interesting because we had a show once with a guy. John thought he was a stand-up comedian. Turns out not so much. But his wife, and I'm searching over here. If you see my eyes darting around, I'm trying to search our episodes to find which one that was. But his wife runs one of the largest photography podcasts out there, and she offers classes and things like that. But what they had found out was a lot of women, like in that raising kids age, turn to photography. And so she started doing like, hey, these are the simple how-tos of how to do photography. And like even my next door neighbor had a photography business for a long time. And it's interesting how there's that commonality that can kind of bring people together, and you happen to hit it and hit on those natural talents. By the way, I took that same photography class. I'm a few years older than you, but I gave a little shout out to Mr. Troyer at Broadhead High School Art Department, who helped. I mean, that dark room, spent hours in there when I was taking that class. So much fun.
So cool. You guys had a dark room in your high school.
We did. Yep.
That's really cool.
Developing and the whole deal.
I don't think we did.
Really?
If we did, I didn't know we had one. So let's put it that way.
Yeah. That's cool.
Dan Craig was the guy Creek. Dan Creek. Episode 24 was.
You were right on top of that.
Was the
so yeah, but anyway, I just thought that was interesting, and I want to bring up. I'm going to do a little share screen here.
Absolutely.
To show some of your work that you sent us. So I'm assuming that this picture of your dog is the one that really caught the attention.
Yes.
What are you throwing at him?
Those are just some of his food.
Okay. It's a kibble there.
Yeah. So we, that was actually taken. So I actually launched my business like 2 weeks before we had shut down here. I didn't know that we were going to have shut down.
Wow.
It's a great time to start a business, right?
Yeah, it was awful. It was awful. So I started the business, and then shutdown happened, and all the momentum that I had, kind of created inside, like kind of went away in an afternoon.
Yeah, it's like a gut punch.
That was so bad. So I spent like 2 weeks crying, eating Oreos, not having any idea what,
Sounds like a great time.
Yeah, just like what was going to happen. My daughter was home from school, had kids in college that were not able to go to school. It was weird. Everything was weird.
Yeah, of course.
So I went, after I was done with that, I went and I started photographing and working on the techniques I needed to. And one of them was lighting. Like I knew I had to work on it anyway. I had all this extra time. So I took my dog downstairs and we started working together. He got a little weird because anytime anyone was around, he would go down like he wanted to work because he wanted treats and to eat. But that was a great turning point for me. I learned so much in like 2 weeks. And then we were published, and it just started everything. So
how'd you get published? Who pushed that? Who sent that? Was that you?
So I submitted it. I wasn't going to submit the images. I actually sat on them for a little while. And then my husband, he was like one of my biggest cheerleaders. And he said, you have to do these things. You have to submit your images. They're beautiful. And so he was a huge cheerleader. But I didn't have the confidence. I think
you're never sure. Absolutely. I get that. Yeah.
Well, and you're comparing yourself, I'm sure, to other photographers that you look up to, and looking at, the best that they put out or the best that they submit that get submitted to those magazines. But you are on par with everything that I've seen and looked at. Yeah. I mean, the way your photos just pop, so the lighting thing really paid off for you. I can tell you. And I don't know what kind of things you do in post, but everything you do just pops. I'm kind of I don't know what the term for it is now, but I'm just a like whore. Like anytime you post something, I'm like, yep, I like it. Yep, I like it. So you see my name pop up quite a bit on your Instagram and Facebook, I'm sure. So you kind of started, first off, congratulations for launching a business during a lockdown. That is amazing. And really sticking to it and not letting that get you down. So were you like in your basement right away, or did you like get the studio space right away? What were you doing there?
She probably took the garage away from the husband as well.
I almost did, actually. I almost took the garage. You can put drywall up. You can do crazy things. But it's really cold in Wisconsin. And so I actually live in like a tri-level. And so I just took the entire bottom floor. It had a bathroom, a bedroom, a makeup room, and then a living room. So the whole bottom floor was a studio. And we were in lockdown.
Are you in your studio right now? Is that
I'm actually in my commercial studio now. I was only able to stay there for like 6 months. But so we're in lockdown, and other than going to work, my husband doesn't have a lot to do. So he starts like helping me remodel this downstairs, and we're like changing the floors. We're doing all this stuff. It was really wonderful.
That's awesome. That's great.
And yeah. And but I need to photograph people, but we're in lockdown. So I don't know what I'm going to do. So I start photographing people from all over the United States through my computer. And I know that sounds crazy.
No, that sounds really interesting. How'd you pull that off?
Yeah.
I'm posing people. I have a MacBook Pro, or they had a cell phone camera. Today, our cameras well surpass anything that we had 10 years ago. My first digital camera was 2.1 megapixels. So like, if you think about that, people were taking photos with those cameras and putting them on billboards. It's hard to believe. But so I'm photographing people. Now, I did have to use some special programs, like some kinds of programs that you would use to like restore old photographs, to sharpen them and to take away all that noise. But I was able to create some beautiful photos, work on my posing, give people photos too, because people are at home, bored out of their minds too. They still need photos. They still need photographers. So I was able to grow that way. And then when we were able to open up, my business kind of just really snowballed fast. And at that point, I had people coming to my home maybe 4 or 5 days of the week.
Wow. Great.
Yeah. Since we were like still kind of scared of germs and COVID, I thought I need a studio.
We need a space. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't kick my family out of the house.
Right.
They have nothing to do. So
I'm gonna put you in an uncomfortable position here. I'm known to do this, by the way, Jenny. So right now, you have Greg or I on. We'll just work on me for a second. How would you work through getting a photo of me right now like this? How would you do this? Like, should I arch my head? Should I?
Oh, like if I was going to take a photo of you.
Yeah, if you were taking a photo of me, I want to see what you did during lockdown.
This is so fun. Okay, so like, let's say I was going to do a headshot of you. Okay, yeah, that's really, really reminds me of like my senior photos. There, we don't want to do that.
Glamour shots, maybe.
Yeah.
Wait. How about?
That's good. I like that. I like that. If I was going to take a headshot though of you over the computer, I would have you stand up straight. I would have you take your hands and put them to your sides, almost like this, and then bring them back a little bit because I don't need to see them. I'm going to take a photo up here. And then I'd have you lean forward with your forehead so that
my forehead.
Yep. And lift the chin just a tiny bit. And then bring your head across just a little bit. So you're kind of mysterious.
Oh, this way?
Yeah, this way. And I would snap your photo just like that. And
no
it would only start here on up. Yes.
Very cool.
It's interesting what our cameras see opposed to what our eyes see.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Because there's
I think that's incredible that's how you kind of started the business.
It is.
Like I would seriously think to myself, well, I'm shut down for a year because I can't bring anybody in here. And if I bring somebody in here, they're gonna have a mask over themselves and they're gonna be smiling. What made you like sit there and say, you know what, I can do this over Zoom?
Well, to be perfectly honest, I just really wanted to photograph. Cool. I was so excited. I mean, I had this goal and I was like, I know there's things I can't do. And in some other places like opened up way before us, but there was other places like California that stayed closed for a really, really long time.
Yes.
And that's what they were doing. Like seasoned photographers went from photographing 8 hours a day, every day of the week to like nothing. And they were getting depressed. So, I mean, like it started kind of in the photography groups, then it like spanned out. And people were finding me on Instagram, so it was just fun.
That's really great. That's cool. Did you tell them to adjust their lighting or did you do all that post?
So there's a lot you can do with lighting. It's kind of interesting. Like if you are just talking to someone and you have a window light coming in on the side, you can like turn your computer, with a phone, it's a lot easier. You can go outside, you can put it on a tripod, you can put it on a ladder. I mean, there's so many different tools that you can use to be able to photograph.
Do you use your phone or do you use like the big ones that, with the huge zoom lenses, or you just do this and walk?
Oh, like when I photograph people professionally in person, I have studio lighting.
You got the stuff, man.
Yeah, I got all the stuff. You don't need all the stuff, but I do have it.
Okay. that is interesting because even filmmakers like Christopher Nolan, who did the Dark Knight trilogy and is a major Hollywood filmmaker, he recently shot a film completely with the last year's model of an iPhone, and that became kind of the big deal. I mean, I've got settings on my phone that I don't even know. I mean, my wife, who is a graphic designer and knows more about imagery than I do, she'll get in and be like, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this. And I'm like, yeah, I just want to snap a picture. But it's amazing. And so I want to shift gears a little bit, still talking about your work, because you kind of came up, you started to really grow your business, and then you started to get into these boudoir, however you want to say it, shoots, which are kind of really blowing up around the country right now. And I find it real interesting because of the empowerment that it can bring. And I know it's.
Can we show any?
Yeah, I've got a couple here that I'm going to put up in a second, but it's. I almost want to say a double-edged sword because I think some people can really take it the wrong way. but I'm not one of those people. And I look at the other side of things and I'm like, there's beauty in here. I mean, and it is all kinds of women coming in, and I can only imagine that they're pretty nervous when they come in. So how do you go about like calming them down and kind of, easing them into this process?
So for our studio, I actually do things a little bit differently.
Drugs.
We get them high.
Alcohol.
It's still in Wisconsin. We don't do that yet. We don't do that yet.
No alcohol, no drugs. So in my studio, and it doesn't matter, I do this for everyone, whether they're having, a wedding, it's a family, boudoir, beauty, it does not matter. But I do a pre-shoot consultation. So I take that phone call. Someone calls me and says, I really want to do a beauty session, or I really want to do a boudoir session. And we get scheduled, and it starts with a pre-shoot consultation. I have people come from Iowa to see me, Illinois, all over Wisconsin. So sometimes they can't actually come into the studio. So we'll do it over Zoom, but people will come into the studio. They'll try on outfits. We have beautiful, beautiful wardrobe here for all sizes and all shapes. So I spend about an hour planning out their session. And the first thing I ask them is, how do you want to feel when you hold your images? What do you want your images to say? And I ask them about their style, and I ask them about their comfort level. So every single session is tailored to them. Every single makeup and hair look is tailored to them. We kind of make a storyboard when they leave. So when they come back in, my hair and makeup team know what's happening. And I make sure that I know what they're saying. So like if they leave, doesn't happen often, but if they leave and they look at their mood board and they say, that's not at all what I was thinking, like we can get on the same page. So when they come in, we're like friends already. They're usually maybe a tiny bit nervous in hair and makeup, but we already know what's going to happen. It's not like a secret, there's genuine emotions in those photos. There's a comfort level. If you were to come into my studio tomorrow, even for a headshot, and I just put you in front of all my big lights and in front of my big camera, and I just looked at you and I said, okay, Greg, smile. Johnny, pose.
Yeah, it's going to
be, it'd be so diminishing. You would get this weird look on your face, like that smile you've never smiled your entire life,
the Chandler Bing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what we do. And I mean, it works, and people feel comfortable because they know what's going to happen, because we know what's going to happen. So
I'm going to share my screen again with a couple more of those shots that you sent over. Because this is what we're talking about. Did that share?
Yes. I'm looking at it.
Okay. I'm looking at the Facebook. It's not over there yet. There it goes. So these are the kind of things we're talking about here, and beautiful shots. The lighting, you've obviously got some set design going on with the props.
That's a fantastic one.
Yeah. And working like angles, camera angles and leading lines. There's a lot of really great technical stuff going on here.
What's the most challenging part of a shoot? Did I use the right terminology? Is it called a shoot?
Oh, the most challenging part. Getting it all done in like 2.5 hours is the most challenging, because when I get excited, I'm a little ADHD, just for disclosure. So for me to like get so excited, like my cloud set is my favorite set. So like I may photograph that for 35 minutes, and you can't just have only photos of you in the clouds. We have to do other things as well. So I think that's the biggest challenge for me.
So keeping you on task type of thing.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
I need like my assistant to stay for the whole session. So she's like watching the clock, but no, I have like all this creative energy. And so, to get that out, it's just, there's not enough hours in the day. Yeah, that's what it is.
So, have you ever had, have you had couples come in? Have you had men come in and try to do beauty shots or any of those kind of things? Or
So I have done couples, and that's a lot of fun. Just kind of so you know, like, I think people think when you're going to photograph couples that it's going to be like this thing that's all hot and steamy, and it's not.
It's really not.
So it's not like a romance novel. It's not like a cover of a romance novel.
Not when you got the person with like pointing the fan at you so you get the hair blowing. I mean, I think it takes away some of the mood.
Yeah, we do that. No, but you can pose a woman and a man or two partners together, and you can pose them in a bodysuit, and it's about facial emotion. It's about posing. I pose people the same way with their clothes on as I do when they're not wearing as many. So it's really about posing. It's about lighting, but it's about connection. You can be fully dressed. You can have a sweater on, and it can be like the sexiest photo you've ever seen of yourself because of the way that you're connecting to the camera or not connecting to the camera. So I think when it comes to photography, you can photograph it all. It's just getting that connection.
All right. How do I connect to a camera?
Oh, like, so you'd have to come in for a session. We'd have to like talk about what your style is. And then we would talk about posing. I try to like tell jokes and get people kind of comfortable. To be honest, I'm not really good at telling jokes. So I think that's part of the humor of it. But when people are comfortable and you give them direction, they're able to open up. And I think that's when you start seeing those looks into the camera, the fierce look, you know, when a woman or a man is comfortable and now they are opening up and they are connecting with the camera. It's not really me they're connecting with. They are looking down that lens and I'm just capturing a microsecond.
So that must get you pretty excited. They come in, they're all stiff, they're a little nervous, and all of a sudden they start you're like this person that's molding the clay, right? And when it starts moving the way that that makes it fit perfect, that must be some sort of a photographer high, I guess, right?
Yeah. So when I meet people, this is really interesting. I don't know if this is like still on subject, but when I meet people and I have that pre-shoot consultation, I will ask them, what is your favorite body part, or what is something that is your favorite thing about yourself? And there are two groups of people. There are people that will go ahead and just tell me, like, I love my eyes or I love my hair. But there are people that will tell me the things they don't love about themselves. You know, it's like they can't tell me yet what it is they love about them. Maybe they've lost that. Maybe they don't remember. And that's really hard. So then it's my job to help them see who they are. And I think it doesn't matter, man or woman. You know, we photograph all genders here. It does not matter. They're in there. Sometimes they just have never been professionally photographed or they've never really thought about it. So that can be a challenge, and it's awesome when you see them come back and see their images. I mean, there's a lot of tears. That's
cool. That's very cool. That's very cool. That's super cool. I remember when I think right out of college, I took headshots because I wanted to be a big time Hollywood actor. And I thought, well, I got to get headshots. So I took headshots, and I remember, I think it took an hour and a half or something. And I remember actually feeling exhausted at the end of a shoot. Is that like natural? Do you find that happens a lot in your studio?
I tell people that they're going to be tired. I mean, I tell them to drink plenty of water the day before, maybe take an ibuprofen before they come. Because I am like moving all over the studio. I'm like climbing on ladders. I'm down on the ground. I'm very active photographer. Okay. But I think people don't, I think unless you've had a professional photo session and maybe one with someone like me that's really active and doing a lot of looks and stuff, you probably have no idea what's going to happen. But I do tell my clients, and a lot of them do take the ibuprofen. I do sometimes get emails the next day like, wow, I felt like I worked out, you know? Yeah. So, but I mean, it's not painful. It's just posing. So.
Right. Have you ever had someone show up and you thought, or they showed up and they had a preconceived notion of what it was, so they didn't listen to you during the what did you call it? The pre
the pre-shoot consultation.
Yeah. They didn't really listen to you. They just were ready to go to the shoot, and they come there and it's not what you were like, whoa, we're not doing that. Have you ever had somebody like try to take the driver's seat?
Oh, no. So I think I'm a pretty good judge of character, and I do educate my clients a lot along the process. I don't want them to ever feel like they have no idea what's going to happen or what's going on.
Right.
So they come in for that pre-shoot. They have a mood board. We work on it together.
What's a mood board?
Oh, it's like a Pinterest board. I put
What's
together
a Pinterest board.
Oh, okay. Ooh, do you like home improvement projects?
I do. I like watching them.
So Pinterest is kind of like Instagram, I guess, in a sense.
Oh, okay.
Except it just like takes websites and photos from all over the internet, and you can pin them in your own little boards so you can get to them. I make these boards, and what I'll do is I'll pin sets, and I'll pin makeup design, and I'll pin poses, and I'll pin kind of like aesthetic stuff. And so when they look at that board, they're like, yes, this is exactly what I want. This is what I want to feel when I see my images.
Okay.
So they have a visual aid for them. And some of the images are mine, and other ones are outfits or, places all over the world, just like an aesthetic feel. So it really helps a lot. Then when they come back, they're sitting in hair and makeup, and we're talking about it. And I'm showing them the sets we're going to do, and I'm showing them their wardrobe, because we carry wardrobe here.
Wow.
I would say 90% of our clients show up with just their undergarments, because we're going to give them all of their wardrobes for the day. And then others will bring things in as well. So they're not really wondering. I do have a lot of people super nervous about posing, but I'm really good at posing people. So they're never alone with that. That's really part of photography. You have to be able to do the posing, the lighting, and you have to know your camera settings. And if you have those three things, you can make anyone look beautiful.
Yeah. And part of me is just really, really shocked that John has no idea what Pinterest is. No. Really, John? Really? You've never heard of Pinterest?
I have not.
Wow. You're not a crafter?
I don't. I'm not sure what you mean. You mean like with wood? Like
I'm still not any of those things, and I know what Pinterest is.
Well, la-ti-da, Greg.
I will educate you later. Sorry, John, you were going to ask a question there.
No, yeah. This just feels like this would take 8 hours to do, and you do this in what?
You do this. I mean,
like
an
hourly,
hour, right?
So they come in for the pre-shoot consultation for about an hour,
right?
And then I'll also tell them things like there's just like studio related things like come with clean hair. Your nails manicured, whether it's a man or woman, it doesn't matter. I'll go over these things, like things people kind of forget.
Yeah, that's a good
bring
one.
your clothing in pressed and ready to wear, just stuff like that. So then they'll leave, and then they'll come back 2 weeks later, and we'll actually have their session. So it's a 4-hour session, if starting with hair and makeup and going to the end when I photograph them. Because hair and makeup usually takes about an hour and a half. I would say 95% of the people that are having full service sessions are mothers, wives, women, just women in general. And then maybe at the end of the session, their family's coming in for additional photos, or family photos that, have with the woman starting in hair and makeup. So that's kind of like what our, norm is here in the studio.
You ever have guys like in the corner doing push-ups before they're about to get on in the shoot?
No, but I do like, I have done some fitness photos, and we did have those actually published,
cool.
Some of them. So so we've done fitness photos. So, I've had men in my studio, and they're showing off their muscles, and I'm photographing them with like sharp lights to show that off. So, that's fun too.
What is the craziest shoot you've ever had to do where you thought, well, I would you have to shoot somebody on a roller coaster? Like, give me a.
That sounds fun. I would totally do that.
Give me a crazy that you've experienced so far that you thought, whoa.
Well, So this isn't crazy, but I wasn't prepared. I did photograph someone. They asked me if I would photograph them on a bluff, and I didn't really know what a bluff was. So
I know. All of you, I know what a bluff is.
So I brought my cameras. I shoot with 2, and I also brought my lighting. And then I had to perceive to like go onto a bluff with all of my things. Yeah. I was not prepared. I'm not a rock climber. I'm not a hiker even. Yeah. That was hard for me. That was extremely hard for me. I thought I was going to drop my gear off the side and whatnot. So
yeah, I bet. What bluff? Like, did you have to travel like to Utah or?
No, it was local. I don't even want to say because it wasn't even that big.
Okay. All right. Understood.
It's still a rocky drop off. So
yeah, it was a very rocky drop off. And it was a family who was like sitting on a bluff. So like, I was feeling a lot of safety things inside just because I wasn't prepared. But yeah, that was a little challenging.
Oh no, that works. I could see that.
Then I'd say your next expensive piece of equipment is going to be one of those photography level drones where they can be literally hanging off the bluff and you can just have your drone floating right there.
I have that.
I was going to ask. Okay.
I just got it.
I just got it.
Yes.
Yeah. We're not. So my husband's actually going to get certified, and I probably will at some point. But you have to be, certified to be able to use it. And
I didn't know that. You have to be certified to use a drone?
Drone photography, yep.
Professionally, yes.
Why is that? Like,
because it's airspace.
How high are you guys going?
High.
They go, I was on a film shoot once and they had a drone. I mean, it was what used to be considered the helicopter shot, John, is actually all done by a drone. So that super high, it was over a farm, and it was an aerial shot of the farm that zoomed in, and it came right down to the actors that were standing on the porch.
Okay. I always thought like a drone wouldn't go farther than like maybe 25 feet in the air.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Hundreds of feet in the air.
All right. Johnny's learning stuff today. Pinterest, drone stuff. Okay. Continue.
I did. We did get the drone because we'll be photographing in Iceland later this year. And I just seen so many beautiful photos from Iceland on Instagram and Facebook. Like I have to at least try.
So. Yeah, that is awesome.
So Iceland, that's interesting. So where's the most interesting place you've had to go for a photo shoot?
Still, I do a lot of photography in Chicago, Wisconsin, Madison. I've been in Kansas City. I've been in St. Louis. We are going to add Florida in this year. And then we'll be in Las Vegas actually in 2 weeks, photographing in the desert. So, I mean, like we're starting because of COVID, all of our things have been canceled, like nonstop. I was supposed to be in New Orleans like a month ago, canceled. You know what I mean? It's like
such a great time.
So knock on wood, none of my trips get canceled.
Yeah, of course. Knock on wood. Absolutely. That's, wow, that's cool. Iceland. What can you tell us why you're going there? Or like, are you shooting? Like, can you tell us?
Are you vacationing there and taking your stuff, or is it for?
So I'm actually going with a group of photographers, and we are going to be photographing all over Iceland. We're going to be going to the springs. We're going to be going into town. I'm actually
very cool.
Honestly, first I'm like learning about Iceland right now. Like what I thought about Iceland is very different than what Iceland actually is. It's beautiful, but like it's daytime all the time there when we're going. And there's only manual cars and no one speaks English. Like these are all things I had no idea about. So, but we're going to be photographing wedding, boudoir, couples, just like we're going to be doing everything. So
very cool. Very
super
cool.
excited about that.
Yeah.
I don't know why I
can't wait to see that.
But have you ever done any cosplay shoots?
I have done some work, and what I really want to do is actually get to go and photograph. I know some photographers actually in that industry where they will travel to all of these conferences, and they'll photograph, because I mean, I am just in awe of how much time people spend.
Yes. Yeah.
It's amazing.
I usually go to C2E2 down in Chicago, which is at the McCormick place. And there are, like, you just walk around that campus and there are photographers everywhere. And they have like the cosplayers, it's either the photographer has contacted them saying, I want you to model for me, and they've worked that out, or the cosplayers have hired the photographer and they're walking around Chicago doing all these photography shoots, even at night, which I thought was pretty risky. But I'm walking down Michigan Avenue on a Friday night or a Saturday night going to a brewery, and I saw more than one, Batman cosplayer in Chicago getting a night shoot done.
That's awesome.
Which was really cool to see. So
that is pretty cool.
Another option for you.
Okay. I asked this about everybody that works with people for a living.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever have somebody walk in there and they just immediately gave you the creeps, and you were like, in a nice way, we can't do this. You got to go.
Oh,
the nope.
Yeah. The nope. No, thanks. I'm not saying give names, but did you have an experience?
I don't know. So actually photographing someone, no, but I have had people reach out, and I've had interviews kind of on the phone with them.
Oh, okay.
And so I'm a pretty good judge of character. When I see those red flags going off, I'm usually like, I don't think I'm the photographer for you. I don't think I'm going to be able to do that for you. So yeah, I haven't had them in my studio, but to get into my studio, you have a phone conversation with me. You pay a deposit. We plan out 3 sessions that you're going to have with me. And I'm usually pretty good at, knowing.
At that point, you're like,
at that point.
Let me give you someone else's card. Well, this has been awesome. Thank you for coming on. I said, your work, I think, is really leading the way in opening up a lot of different doors for people. And like I said, the body positivity that you're promoting for people, especially I think for mothers that, they've got a couple of kids under their belt. They don't feel good about themselves. And then you can come in and they can do a session with you and feel like themselves again and feel like that. Just take away that negative self-talk. And then they've got this thing that forever they can look at and flip through and say, that's the me that I want to remember. And I just think that's great.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
It's really powerful that that has to be your favorite shoots. Those have to be your favorite ones where you give somebody that like Greg said, like someone that isn't feeling that sexy or something like that. And you show them that, hey, yeah.
Or even just sexy. Photogenic. I mean, it doesn't have to be the boudoir shoot, like you said. I mean, those are great, but like you said, it could just be like the family photo or something like that, where you can capture, that person and be like, that's the you that's inside your head that's always trying to get out.
I think, with moms, they are a little different. I have some moms actually come in, and they will come in and I do see this like for our mini sessions where I'm not doing their hair and makeup. And they'll come in, you can tell that they've done their hair, they've done their makeup, they've really chosen what they're going to wear. But all of a sudden they're like, just the kids or, me in the back. And it's kind of like, I find that there are whole time periods, like when I was younger, that I was not in front of the camera. It wasn't because I was insecure, but I had like these babies and I was photographing them, and maybe I wasn't the ideal weight, or I didn't like how my hair looked or whatever.
Right.
My kids are going to look back in my early 20s. They're in their early 20s right now, and they're going to want to know what I look like. And there's not a lot to see. And honestly, I have never thought to myself, wow, my mom was 5 pounds overweight or 5 pounds underweight, or her hair looked like my mom has always been beautiful to me. And I think moms don't realize that, like your babies love you, and they're always like, you're beautiful. They don't see what it is that you see.
Yeah, they don't see your imperfections or
right. And those are just things that you tell yourself. I mean, that's you know what I mean? So it's really important to get in front of that camera and include yourself in that as well.
For that very reason, just what you're saying, I've throughout my kids' lives, I've tried to put my wife in the pictures with them so that they have that experience. They can see their mom. On the flip side, like they think, they're going to have family members down there will be like, did you have an absentee father? Because he's like never, or it's going to be, why does your dad look so weird? Because it's constantly the selfie picture of like me doing the up angle. Yeah. So you don't get my chin. But yeah, that's those are great reasons for photographers to work their magic and really put people out there and be like, this is what your kids want to see. This is what they want to remember.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
yeah. Well, thank you very much. Jenny, where can people find you? We'll hit it again. We'll put the links in below, but one more time for everybody.
You can find me at jennyelaine.com, or I am on Instagram at Jenny Elaine Photography or Jenny Elaine Boudoir. And then I'm also on Facebook, just Jenny Elaine Photography.
Awesome. Thank you so much for jumping on here. We really appreciate it. Greg, if you could, as always, sign us out, sir.
Yeah, well, when you're out there throughout your week and you're taking your selfies, pictures of your kids, and if you want to talk to them about what's going on in the world, because God knows there's a lot going on in the world right now. One, you always want to check your sources. You want to know where you're getting your information from. Two, you want to vet those sources and make sure that they're coming from credible sources. And then three, while you're doing all that and you're talking with some strangers about maybe some heavy topics, don't be a douche.
For Jenny, the Greg, this is Johnny saying happy Valentine's Day. Podcast out, everybody. Take care. Have a great rest of your day.
See you guys.
Good job, Jenny. See, that wasn't hard.